Good morning, televiewers, and welcome to the last edition of the brief for the week on My Media Prime Television. And on today's edition of the program, we are revisiting, or we will be telling you the consequences or the fallouts of the recent decision taken by the DO for Bali in the northwest region of Cameroon, banning circulation of motorbikes in that part of the country shortly after separatist fighters reportedly ambushed a police van, killing 5 police officers recently. We shall equally talk about other issues regarding the protests against President Paul Biya in Geneva, Switzerland. And let's go find out what the French newspapers have for yours this morning with AUDREY ZATSA. AUDREY, good morning and welcome once again.
Bonjour à toi, LASHA Kingsley. Merci de m'inviter une fois de plus sur ton plateau. Bonjour à tous.
C'est vendredi.
Voilà, exactement. Bonjour à tous, fidèles téléspectateurs. C'est vendredi et la dernière édition de cette semaine. Madame, messieurs, on est très heureux, une fois de plus, LASHA Kingsley, de les retrouver. C'est vrai que cette semaine-ci a été, on était un peu absent justement à cause des fériés. Mais bon, on est là et c'est la dernière édition et nous en sommes heureux. Voilà, une destination à vendre, Cannes 2021, c'est le titre que propose le journal Cameroun Tribune, par lequel nous débutons ce matin. Le journal Cameroun Tribune informe d'ailleurs que en prévision de la prochaine Coupe d'Afrique des Nations de football au Cameroun, dès le mois de janvier 2022, le Premier ministre chef du gouvernement Joseph John Bouté a présidé hier une session extraordinaire du Conseil national du tourisme pour mobiliser les différents acteurs et permettre au pays de tirer profit des opportunités qu'offre le secteur touristique lors de cet événement. Vous aurez plus d'informations dans la page 4 à 5 de Cameroun Tribune que vous retrouverez en kiosque dans les kiosques à journaux ce matin. Le tri hebdomadaire L'œil du Sahel, pour sa part, informe qu'au Grand Nord, les aéroports attendent leur envol international. Plus d'infos dans la page 6 à 7 de L'œil du Sahel. Info Matin, pour sa part, parle d'autre chose. Produits de grande consommation, pas de hausse des prix en vue. C'est le titre que propose le journal et à sa page 3, pour maintenir le statu quo du marché dans les marchés, le ministre du Commerce Luc Magloire-Mbarga Tangna a présidé le 21 juillet à Yaoundé une série de concertations avec les opérateurs de filières riz, huile végétale, brasicole, ciment, fer à béton, tôle et autres encore. Vous retrouverez donc cette information dans la page 3 du journal Info Matin. Terminons avec Mutation qui parle également du même sujet, prix du ciment, la hausse en béton face au spectre d'une flambée plus importante occasionnée par la conjoncture internationale. Le ministre du Commerce joue le sapeur-pompier. C'est ce que renseigne Mutation ce matin. Vous lirez donc plus à ce sujet dans la page 7 de Mutation. Voilà, mesdames, messieurs, pour les tabloïds francophones que vous retrouverez dans les kiosques à journaux. Place aux tabloïds en anglais avec LASHA Kingsley.
Thank you, Audrey. Let's kick start with breaking news. Beleng. Breaking news. Beleng this morning is interested in this strike action or the protest staged by some Cameroonians in the diaspora over the weekend. The paper writes that Brigade Anti-Sardina defies Swiss security to stage anti-Biya demonstration in Geneva, Switzerland. Some of the protesters were reportedly arrested by the Swiss police, and some of them have already been slammed jail sentences, as we are told by Breaking News Cameroon. And Breaking News Cameroon this morning is also interested in the ring road 38 years after. The paper is questioning this morning if the ring road promised in 1983 by Paul Biya now takes off 38 years after is not a means of bringing peace or trying to seek peace in the northwest region of Cameroon. You can get the analysis of Breaking News Beleng in this edition, talking about the ring road that was promised the denizens of the northwest region of Cameroon by President Paul Biya in 1983, only in this edition of the paper. And the Emergence newspaper is interested in the visit of the newly installed National Communication President Joe Chebonken Kalibobso. The paper writes that at Emergence headquarters, headquarters in Yaoundé. National Communication Council President Joe Chebonken urges journalists to remain professional. He paid a courtesy visit to the headquarters of Emergence newspaper yesterday, as we are told by the ZATS newspaper. And also in Emergence newspaper, the DO for Yaoundé 1 subdivision has banned a planned movement or planned protest by the MRC political party of Professor Maurice Kamto. The SDO or the DO for Yaoundé 1 banned the set protest, citing COVID-19 and disturbances or public peace in his area of command. So according to the DO, the set protest cannot hold because of COVID-19 and the fear of the disturbance of public peace and order in that part of Yaoundé. Let's take you now to the Voice Weekender. The Voice Weekender is still interested in the confrontation between police officers in Bafoussam and Honorable Member of Parliament for Wuri East constituency, Honorable Nuran Fortsin. The paper says lawlessness looks lawmaker, as we are told. So the confrontation between the said honorable and police officer is still very much a point of focus with the Voice News, the Voice newspaper, or the Voice Weekender this Friday morning. Let's also talk about the ban on the circulation of motorbikes in Bali in Mezan division of the northwest region of Cameroon. The paper writes that Bali motorbikes ban provokes interminable gunfire which are being heard in that part of the country. The ban, as we are told, was provoked by the killing of 5 police officers by armed men believed to be Ambazonia fighters operating in Bali, in that part of the country. So the DO for Bali subdivision has decided to ban the circulation of motorbikes in his area of command, as insecurity proceeds, or insecurity continues to reign in that part of the country, with the killing and beheading of police officers by armed men believed to be Ambazonia fighters operating in that part of the country. Bamenda Ring Road relegation sequel, the paper writes. Senator Sule calls for patriotism or patronization of the set road, as we are told. Let's leave the Post Weekender newspaper. The Guardian Post newspaper this morning is also interested in the visit of the president of the National Communication Council, Joe Chebonken Kalibos, to the headquarters of the ZATS newspaper. At the maiden visit, Communication Council president says the Guardian Post, pride of Cameroon journalism, and the paper goes ahead to say the National Communication Council (NCC) has hailed the Guardian Post, which is the first ever and the lone English language daily newspaper, as being the pride of Cameroon journalism. The remark was made yesterday by the president of the National Communication Council, Joe Chebonken Kalibos, as the council paid a maiden visit to the head office of the Guardian Post newspaper in Yaoundé. The visit was part of a tour being undertaken by the council to maiden houses for consultation and sensitization in Yaoundé. Seduced by the imposing office of the Guardian Post newspaper, the National Communication Council boss and his delegation expressed satisfaction, saying the structure is not only befitting but reflects the newspaper's professionalism and excellence. You can get more details about the visit of Joe Chebonken Kalibose to the headquarters of the Guardian Post newspaper in this edition of the ZATS paper. Let's talk about this accident which happened in the west region of the country recently. 6 persons feared dead. That's in Bamungun road accident. The paper says at least 6 persons are said to have died and several others injured after a bus belonging to the General Express Interurban Travel Agency, matriculated Littoral 4002JN, collided with a heavy-duty truck in a village in Bamungu. The tragic incident, as I told you, occurred on the night of Tuesday, July 20, at the village of Mbe in Bamungu, at the entrance to Bafoussam in the west region of the country. This is not the first time that General Voyage or Interurban Transport Agency is involved in accident. The said agency, as we are told, has been involved in numerous road accidents along national routes in the country, especially the Yaoundé-Douala Highway, as we are told. Let's also talk about Bamenda. New twist in case of woman arrested for allegedly poisoning on kids on request of internet husband. More details in this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper. And after innovation reforms, number of taxpayers doubles within 5 years in the country. Those were the revelation of the taxation department of the Ministry of Finance of Cameroon recently, after the innovation was made, or the innovative reforms were made 5 years ago, as we are told by the paper. Talking about anti-beer protest in Geneva, Switzerland, we are told that the Minister of Public Health of Cameroon, Dr. Manouda Malachi, has rallied his population, the population of Mayo-Tanaga division in the far north region of the country, to protest against those individuals who disturbed President Paul Biya's short stay in Europe. The anti or the counter protest was organized by the Minister of Public Health of Cameroon, Dr. Manouda Malachi, to show to the world that the entire population of the north region, or the far north region of the country, especially his division of origin, is behind President Paul Biya of the Republic of Cameroon. Thank you for watching, televiewers. We are back in the studio to continue our discussions this morning, and we are going to kickstart with the Voice newspaper, which is interested in the Bali, or the ban on motorbikes in Bali Nyonga. And we are told that several travelers are stranded. Those who went to Nigeria for business purposes, they are stranded along the said route because of the blockage or the ban movement along the said route by both the government and the separatist fighters. We are receiving AMADU TARNTEH, who is a human rights advocate, and he's here with us this morning to talk on some of the rights violations ongoing in the two English-speaking regions of the country. Good morning, sir, and welcome once again. Good morning, sir, and thank you very much for the privilege for me to be here. We are beginning with the issue of Bali Nyonga in Mezan Division, northwest region of Cameroon, where several travelers are stranded along the said route as a result of the confrontation or the bras de fer between the military and separatist fighters in that part of the country. Okay, thank you once more for giving the audience. So I'll start as usual to condemn all the killings or destructions of dwellings by both the separatist fighters and the government forces in this area. I condemn the killing of the 5 police officers that were killed, the 5 police officers that were killed by the armed separatists before it provoked this issue of roadblock and all the rest, because all those who are being killed, whether armed separatists or civilians, they are all Cameroonians. So we condemn the killing of Cameroonians, the separatist fighters and all the rest. But one thing I will say here is that we don't have to spend our time blaming each other, saying that it was because armed separatists killed this, the security forces, because before the DO or the SDO called for the ban the circulation of motorbikes. All we have to do is do everything possible to continue calling for the president of the republic to call for. Was it motorbikes that were used to ambush the police van leading to the killing of the 5 police officers? In this particular case, we have not had the exact information on what the separatists used in attacking this police officer. But all the same, what I'm saying is that we don't have to spend our time blaming each other, saying that this one have done that, this one have done that. We have to pray that the president of the republic should hear the cry of the people, because when all these things are happening, it is the civilians that are suffering. Now, when this thing happened and the DO decided to call to ban the circulation of motorbike, and the armed separatists on their own part decided to equally ban the circulation of vehicles and the circulation of civilians along this stretch of route, and this has caused a lot of pain to the civilians who are living in this area. So we keep praying for the president of the republic to say, His Excellency Mr. Paul Biya, to do everything possible to call for a peaceful and inclusive dialogue to come out of to seek an amicable solution
out of the crisis and for an end the crisis as soon as possible to avoid this suffering. Our civilians are going through a lot of pain on a daily basis.
We are told, we are reading elsewhere that the separatist fighters have given a green light to those travelers along the said route. They have given a 1 day of grace to be able to travel across the said route, and after that the route will be blocked again. That's what we are reading elsewhere.
Mais est-ce à dire que ce sont eux les séparatistes qui donnent des ordres là-bas?
No, it's not. Everybody was given the order, but the first order was given by the SZO who banned the circulation of motorbikes, claiming that the separatist fighters used the motorbike to attack the security forces that were killed.
Donc le gouvernement donne les ordres.
So why are people respecting the orders of the separatists?
That people are respecting the orders of the separatists because the separatists are the ones that are closer to the people. They are closer to the people than the defense and security forces. Because if you respect the government and deny to respect the orders of the separatist fighters, don't be surprised that at night or at any time they can come to your house and attack you. Those security forces will not be there to defend you.
So they are more scared of
you. They are more scared of the separatist fighter because they are closer to the population more than the security and defense forces.
And we are told that there are other killings in another Bali. Garrison is still in the northwest region of the country, this time by men in uniform, as we are told. Those are some of the information coming in, and we will work on those information and bring you details of what is actually happening. But AMADU, what can we do concretely to stop this killing? Because that's the interest of the common man now. Many innocent civilians are being killed on a daily basis. What should be done to ensure that this killing, the upsurge in the beheading of both the civilians and the security forces, because the security forces are equally husbands, they are equally sons, they are equally, they are equally fathers. What should be done?
We keep saying this is on a daily basis. The only way for us to come out of this crisis is dialogue. So they need ceasefire. But for us to have this ceasefire, the president of the Republic to do first of all do everything possible to guarantee that they do everything to consult all the actors who are directly involved in this crisis, so that they can come out or sit on the dialogue table and look for an amicable solution to the problem. So we have been calling on ceasefire by both the parties, both the separatist fighters and the government, the state actors, so that it will guarantee maybe the dialogue for the two parties. Even though some people have been saying that they want the separatist fighters to deposit their arms because they are not for the security force or the defense forces are state actors and others. But normally we know very well that in conflict resolution, what it is very clear is that there's nothing like one party depositing their weapon before dialogue. What is done is that all the other two parties deposit their arms before they call for dialogue. So there's nothing as such.
One has the legitimacy to carry the guns and the other is carrying it illegally.
The thing is that the International Humanitarian Law, the Geneva Convention made it very clear that for an armed group to be recognized within the state, that armed group must be organized. That means that they need to have leaders and others, and for them to once they are organized and they equally have some particular areas that they are controlling within the country, that it means that the armed group is well recognized before the international community.
Now the government is telling us that there is no part of Cameroon that is under the control of the separatists.
I think we just said here that the armed separatists are very much afraid, or the civilians are very much afraid of the armed separatists. Meaning that the armed separatists have taken more of this area.
That is terror now. It's no longer.
It's not terror. I don't know why we are calling terror, but what we know is that
if I'm afraid of you, that if I take certain action, you will come back and after my life, means that you are terrorizing. You are a terrorist.
It's not terrorism. When you cease from respecting an order from someone, the person can do anything. Just imagine what happened to the honorable we do so in Babsam the other day. When the honorable refused to respect the road barrier that was blocked by the security forces, the security forces had to use force on her. When you have to want to break the law, the people who are in charge of protecting that law
is another republic within the republic.
It's not as there's another republic within the republic. So these are some of the things that are giving Cameroon a bad impression of what is going on. We keep calling the president of the republic that it's normal for us to have grievances or differences along the line. We keep saying that dialogue is the only way. Our Cameroon should privilege dialogue as the only way of resolving, peaceful way of resolving problems, and not violence. We keep calling on Cameroon to cease from violence and be responsible citizen and patriotic.
Well, yeah, we are talking about dialogue, and everybody has been asking for it. But why, according to you, is the government not, seeming to understand or seeming to listen to to people calling on dialogue?
If the government had been listening to people calling on dialogue, I think the government would have long resolved the crisis and ever since. Because the government, when the government is trying to do something, they are trying to do things partially. When they call something like what they call that thing they call national dialogue, it was only the civilian people who were represented there.
People whose language is only gone, independence gone. How do you talk with such people?
We have a way of doing it. Let the government stop pretending that these people are refusing to demonstrate their arms. And we know very well that when the government will call for an inclusive dialogue, if these parties, all those who will refrain, we saw the recommendation of the Secretary General of the United States who said that they are doing everything possible to hold those responsible, those who are preventing peace in this region, to hold them responsible for.
How do you talk to somebody like No Pity or Ayabacho?
No, it
brings such people.
Nobody is above the law. When the right time comes, they don't come down for them to have the dialogue. When the dialogue, with the right time for the dialogue, they stay where they are found. They will do everything possible to get them there. It's not something strange.
Okay.
So I'm equally interested this morning in what the Guardian Post, the newspaper, spoke about concerning the Cameroon Renaissance Movement political party that announced the protest, and the government has banned the protest, putting forth
coronavirus and the public peace.
Yeah.
Okay, in principle, it is very clear that the law is there to regulate peace and tranquility. The criminal law is there to regulate peace and tranquility in the community, and the law says very well that public manifestation is a right. So we have the Cameroonians, as per se, have the right to protest or peaceful manifestation. But should in case maybe the administrator, where these people have requested for him or her to give them all the authorization to go and manifest it, in case he or she found it that the manifestation in one way or the other might provoke public disorder or disturb public peace, they have the right to do that.
SDL is demanding, they refuse. MRC, they refuse. PCR and any other party, they refuse. But when it is CPDM, they accept. Does it mean that the threat is only with the opposition? Well, CPDM too cannot cause public
disorder
or spread COVID-19? Is it only?
No, it is true. It is true, because I think we saw something like a rally in Kredi some days, some days back, which was done without any problem. But we keep saying on technology that each and every one of us are equal before the law. Let these people don't think that because they are in power, they have more rights before the law than other Cameroonians. But the thing I could just say is that any manifestation that is foreseen to disturb public peace and tranquility should be in one way or the other banned as the law states.
When you look at the reasons as per the communique or the receipt of deposit or declaration of intent by the party, you discover that they were talking about national unity. They're talking about solidarity for those who are suffering in the Northwest. Does it mean that there was some kind of probably hidden agenda behind their intention, to
Obviously, I'm not a judge or the administrator who banned this organization, this thing. When you deposit a complaint, you apply for authorization. I think that this administrator need to do everything possible. That's what the law says. To do everything possible to first of all investigate, to know very well that what you have done on the document is what you intend to do. But should in case that the person see otherwise, they have the right to do anything other thing.
Somebody wrote me yesterday asking all this English language and French like this just for the ban of the manifestation. Does it mean something is really, really hidden? We know the MRC know how sometimes they can be violent in court. We've seen them.
Don't forget that what is happening with the bars in out of the country in Switzerland, these government people and especially the Bulu and the Betiu they are attacking the Bamdeke or calling, saying it is part of the CRM that is causing whatever is happening in Switzerland with the head of the public. So those are some of the things they are doing that are unacceptable.
Yes.
So those types
that's hate speech.
That's hate speech. That's what I keep saying, that for us to fight hate speech in this country, we need to start with our leaders, because they are the ones who are doing all these things. We have seen some media. I was very frustrated when I learned also one of the media calling the names as saying that there was a result of whatsoever happening the result of baccalaureate in Bangangke. He was reading the names of those who were involved in the manifestation in Switzerland, saying that they were a group of Bamdeke and others. So I don't know what the National Communication Council is doing to sanction some of these people.
Yeah, but the CRM, let's be precise, they emphasize that it's a peaceful protest.
But they are peaceful.
Peaceful, mais n'oublions pas aussi que les forces de l'ordre aussi ne les laissent pas.
What matters is the peace of the Cameroonians, the peace and tranquility of people. We have seen what the Anglophone regions, what people are going, what the civilians are going. They are like being afraid that some of these things can
sit here and talk freely because there is peace, tranquility in Douala.
That is it.
Imagine if the guns were smoking.
So we are afraid that some of these manifestations, people may say that the manifestation are peaceful, but on the other hand, on the other way, that's not what is behind their mind. So we don't want to use it. I'm not a judge, but we are just like using it as a bridge to do whatever they want to do.
Set the country on fire.
That's the issue.
Okay, thank you so much, AMADU TARNTEH, for coming to this edition of the program for us to end the week together. Hopefully, we'll be together next week to talk about burning issues in the country, especially when it comes to human rights issues, especially rights violation in the country. We'll always get back to you so you can enlighten us on some of those issues, AUDREY.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be here.
All right, televiewers, we've come to the end of today's edition of the program. Thank you for staying with us throughout the week. We shall be back on Monday, hopefully, if God permit, to be with you and tell you what the papers must have said, televiewers. And the program was produced by CHRISTAIN TEBONG as usual. For presentation, we've been AUDREY, ZATSA, and myself, LASHA Kingsley. See you on Monday. Bye-bye.